Hello, everyone. I have a bit of a longer form kind of freestyle video for you here, so I hope you don't mind a bit of a rant. I just got done protesting, and I made some improvements to my sign. Well, additions. So, I just added my Twitter. If you can forgive my poor drawing. And I added another reference to the bloodstained men. So, some simple additions, but some notable ones. So, I'll give you a better view of the sign here. So, okay. I just got done protesting. I got 2 honks, which is very good because I was only out there for, I don't know, it was pretty cold today, so I hurried back in. And I was out there for about less than a half hour. But I tried to count the amount of cars I was getting to drive by me. And I counted up until 100 and then I stopped. So it's a very nice realization to know that you're reaching out to so many people just by standing out there. It's super encouraging to hear those positive honks and just get that affirmation, you know? So, I had a few comments on some of my previous videos about suggestions. So, here goes. I'm addressing one right now that is about how nobody cares about men's problems. And throughout all of history, this has been true. Except for slavery. We're currently getting over slavery in the world today, and most, I would say, slaves have been men. This is just a wild claim I'm making. I actually don't know that. I'm just assuming. So, I would go on to say that men's problems are fully in view when you look at circumcision. So, circumcision is one of the greatest sins I can think of, and it's being done as if it's a normal thing to do. We have fully embraced evil as a society because it only affects men in our society. That's what I think. The only reason why people are getting away with circumcision is because it's only a male issue. Mostly, anyway. There are female proponents of female circumcision, and to hear their arguments is, ugh. You know what I mean? Some of their arguments are like, well, you hear from most women who are circumcised that everything seems normal and that their lives are perfectly healthy, when in fact, their genitals have literally been mutilated. And they call it that directly. They call it female genital mutilation. And in the areas where they do female genital mutilation, they still call it circumcision. So, because it's a friendlier term than literally including the word mutilation, of which it is. And part of the reason, and it might be a new sign to make, or in addition to the sign, that it is not circumcision, it is actually male genital mutilation. So, I might end up crossing out circumcision and underneath it write male genital mutilation. And that way it directly shows that it's not circumcision, it is male genital mutilation. And I see a lot of things on Twitter where advocates for men, that was hard for me to say for some reason, where advocates for men will include the hashtag men do complain. And I think it's very nice in general, because the entire problem is that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And men are literally taught from the time they're children not to complain and not to cry, when literally circumcision is a very good reason to yell and scream and to cry. So we as men need to become the squeakier wheel than women in this country. Yeah. Which is going to take a whole lot of effort, because we know how loud women can get. We need to be louder than that. So it's a problem in our society, a definite problem, that we tend to overlook men's problems. And 90% of circumcisions, let's say, are affecting men. So you're not going to hear 90% of the problem, which is the problem. If most of your problem is silenced from the time they're children and traumatized, you're not going to know that there's a problem. So I'm out here screaming and yelling with my sign. I'm not actually screaming and yelling at people. I'm just figuratively yelling and screaming for mankind in general, which is sad because it feels like we're an extreme minority of people, the Intactivists. And it hurts because, well, it hurts literally and figuratively. It hurts. And we need to learn as men to cry figuratively and literally. We need to learn how, because we've been taught that those feelings of sadness and anger are toxic and unfavorable as men to have the capacity to feel, just in general. So I think we need to man up as a society. Man up. We need to man up, pull our pants down, figuratively, not literally, and say that there is something wrong with me, with everyone in this country, by not going out to our representatives, by not protesting, and by not speaking out, manning up. So, moving on to another comment, is that the doctors who perform circumcisions literally attack the frenulum, if you know what that is. And they literally attack the part of the penis that is the most sensitive, because they want to destroy it. That's the entire point of circumcision, is to destroy and to mutilate. And it's done when we are unable to cope properly with the amount of pain. And people say, oh, well, the baby's not going to remember it. Well, so what? It affects the baby for the rest of its life. Oh, but because memory, it exempts the danger. Oh, so if a woman is unconscious, drugged by Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby rapes her, it doesn't count because she doesn't remember it. What kind of argument is that? Oh, So you can literally do anything to your baby because they won't remember it? Like it's okay to drop your baby if they don't remember it? What? What are you thinking? Literally, what are you thinking? I want to know. Are memories that important to you? Really? Because when you're asleep, you don't necessarily acquire new memories. So does sleeping have a less important time for you than being awake? It's just a weird argument that people say that babies won't remember their circumcision. And to that point, I say, well, you can remember your circumcision. You can go all the way back to that trauma and actually remember what happened to you. And I have done it. And I know people, other people, intactivists, who have gone through therapy and literally remembered what it was like to be circumcised. So that argument is flawed from every possible point that I can remember and know. It's just it's a hole in your argument. That plain and simple. Like if you're man enough to be circumcised, let's say, if you're that enough of a man to want to be circumcised, then you should have no problem doing it when you're an adult. And keep that memory, because it should be precious to you, right? Because remembering things is more precious to you than not remembering things. So you should want to remember your circumcision from your own argument. So, just to get a couple of comments addressed, and to show my updated sign, I thought about making a longer form video. And let me think if there's any other comments that I noticed. I'm just going to go to one of my tweets. And it's my pinned tweet on my Twitter profile. And it goes like this. If you can tell me what the rigid band, frenulum, and a third thing, if you can name and describe all of the parts of the penis that are removed during circumcision, I will follow you back. Plain and simple. If you can reply to that tweet and tell me exactly what the parts of the penis are removed during circumcision, I will follow you back on Twitter. And to the same extent, I will subscribe to your YouTube channel if you can comment to any of my videos, any of them, and tell me what the parts of the penis and their functions are being removed by circumcision. Even if you have no videos on your channel, I will subscribe to you. That's a fair deal, in my view. I am asking something from you, effort, which is a few keystrokes on your phone or computer. Like, oh, it's one Google search away. You can literally learn all of the parts of the penis from one article and then regurgitate a summarized view of that in the comment section below, and I will literally subscribe to you. I will follow you. I will friend you. I will do all of the above. I am providing what little incentive I have to you. Back to you. If you can do that. Simply describe the parts of the penis that are removed and their functions. It's a pretty easy thing to do. And if somebody already has, just reply to their reply and make it like a comment string so that I can just go to the top comment where the person's describing everything, and I'll follow, subscribe, friend that person, and anyone else who just says something like, oh, I know what those things are too. And I can go through that comment string and literally just subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And it'll be easier for me to do and a lot easier for you to do, to just reply to that one comment. So if you see somebody going on about the functions of the penis, just say me too, hashtag me too, and I'll literally subscribe to your video list channel. And if you do have videos, I'll go through and like them too. Like, I'll go and watch your videos. I can spend that time, sure. While I'm out protesting, even. I'm on my phone while I protest. I'm not out there just bored. I'm actually, like, watching philosophy videos are my favorite because they're in-depth and they totally allow me to focus on something and frees up my brain to be able to focus, which is nice. And I would recommend the same thing. If you find yourself bored or just thoroughly empty-minded, look up some philosophy videos about morality specifically. And just learn as much as you can about different people's opinions and views on philosophic morality and their different perspectives. It's pretty interesting. So, without making this video go on too long, I would just like to say that there are women's issues out there, and should we conquer circumcision as an issue, I will move on from circumcision and continue to address popular or unpopular issues that affect men and women. And circumcision itself does affect men and women, but primarily men. And so I would consider it a men's issue, specifically in America, because that's where I live. And they say that you shouldn't flee from where you are just because things are hard. You should stay where you are and try and fix those problems. Because if everyone flees from the problems, all that's left is the problem. And you're just going to have a giant, out of control problem. And a lot of men and women are just figuratively fleeing from this circumcision problem. They can't handle it. They're just not big-brained enough to be able to handle the topic in general. And I know people, like literally, my friends cannot handle this issue. It literally goes right over their head. And it hurts to have friends that you can't share your passion with. And so I might need some new friends. Or not new friends, just additional friends. I do have friends, it's just I can't share circumcision with them because they just nope out. They just say, oh, nope, not doing that. And we just move on. And it hurts because my friends right now are both married and looking to have children. And so the problem of circumcision directly affects my friends if they have a boy. In America, they can flee the country and circumcise their female daughters, like in Israel, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they would rather leave their daughters intact and normal and healthy. And the problem with circumcision is that it destroys your health, destroys your sense of normal, and it literally traumatizes babies. And it's been proven that babies experience post-traumatic stress disorder when going through circumcision and afterwards. It's a very big problem because we're literally giving PTSD to babies. Seems bad enough. So, if you guys have any more comments or suggestions about videos to make in the future, I read all the comments. I get notifications on them. So, let me know what you think. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. And I've gotten an offer for somebody in the Quad Cities to meet up. And I think that's really cool. Unfortunately, I do not have a car. So my range is limited. But it is pretty cool that this person offered to meet up regardless, which is very cool. Thank you to that person. And I'll be reaching out to you soon so that we can meet up somewhere. And hopefully, our interaction will inspire others to do the same thing, you know? We're not alone in this. It's just we're all spread out across the country. And so, finding someone that is close by is refreshing and nice, even though we're battling such an evil thing, you know? We live in the center of evil in America, fighting against circumcision. We are the front lines. Not the Army, not the Navy, not the Air Force. It's us. We are the front lines fighting against the greatest evil we can think of by protesting and making videos. I know it sounds lame, but it's not. It shouldn't be. So, I'd like to thank everyone about making comments and suggestions. They do not go unnoticed. And if you have a negative opinion, go for it. I'll read it. Whether or not I respond is an entirely different story, but I'll try to. You know, nobody is not worth saving. Did that come out right? I think so. Everyone is worth saving. You know, the Superman S that he puts on his chest is the light of hope. And it's a beautiful message because Superman himself can see the light in everyone. And I like to do the same. And it's not easy sometimes because people can be evil, straight up evil. And you have to take the time, I have to take the time to sit these people down and try to convince them that they are evil. Because most people who are evil don't believe that they're evil. They think they're on the right side there. So, a final thank you to everyone who comments and makes suggestions and leaves likes on the video because we need to beat the algorithm too, which is a neutral force, I think. And we need to beat circumcision. So we have to beat the algorithm and circumcision. So we have our work cut out for us. Literally cut. So I would like to say thank you. And without this video getting too long, I'd like to say peace out. And I hope you guys are at least inspired by my protest to actually go out and protest and to find other people who are willing to do the same. All right. Catch you guys in the next one.